Yes, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Connor Rhodes from Slim Society. Welcome back to another live video. Today we're going to be talking about links between diet and depression. As always, I'm here to help you with your health and happiness. Today we're going to be trying to get a 2-for-1 deal. We're going to be talking about eating ourselves happier, or technically nutritionaling ourselves happier, because I've got 2 easy supplements to talk to you about as well today, so it's not just all about the food. So how did this come about? Today I went to visit this place in the town where I now live, Melton Mowbray, called Pepper's, a safe place. At Pepper's, a safe place, there is no charge, no agenda and no pressure, just an opportunity to meet a friendly face, take some time out to improve your mental health and look after your mind. So it's a place where people can go to talk about mental health and happiness. And you know me, I love all this kind of stuff. So I saw it when walking past and it said drop-in session. I thought, all right then. Well, I'll drop in, shall I? And while there, I was just chatting to people, sitting around, you know, having a nice time, have a little coffee. People were asking me what I do, etc. Obviously, I said I'm a nutritionist, and then we started, obviously, it's a mental health sort of, it's not only about mental health, but it's a mental health meeting. So then somebody said, I'll ask you a question. We started talking about vitamins somehow, and somebody said, if I took more or increased my vitamin C, do you think that would help with my mental health? Or I think the lady actually said depression specifically. And I said, well, to be honest, I'm not sure about that one. I've never seen any evidence specifically about vitamin C and depression, but there are things that you can do. And I thought, well, obviously we spoke about it then. We chatted about a few different little tactics and tools that you can use. And I thought, all right then, well, this is probably something other people are interested in too. So I'll make a video about this later. And now here we are. So hello, it's lovely to see you again. Hello. Leave on comments and questions if you've got them. Say hi, give a little like if you appreciate and support the content. We're about to go through 4 different things that we can do. Of course, I've got loads of scientific studies to show you. Of course I do. Because you know me, don't you? Let's talk about 4 things that we can do. First one, a little supplement. So first thing we're going to talk about is vitamin D3. Low vitamin D levels are linked with increased risks and rates of depression, and vitamin D supplementation in some studies has been shown to help some people with depression. Not always and not in all studies, but this seems to be a tactic and tool that can be utilized by some people, such as here in this study we've got, as you can see, 1 case-controlled study, 10 cross-sectional studies and 3 cohort studies with a total of 31,424 participants were analysed. Lower vitamin D levels were found in people with depression compared to controls, and there was an increased odds ratio of depression for the lowest vitamin D category versus the highest in the cross-sectional studies. The cohort study showed a significantly increased hazard ratio of depression for the lowest versus the highest vitamin D categories. Our analysis is consistent with the hypothesis that low vitamin D concentration is associated with depression, and highlight the need for more randomized control studies of vitamin D for the prevention and treatment of depression to determine whether this association is causal, which is an interesting point, because perhaps if you are depressed, perhaps depressed people or people with anxiety disorders and things like this, perhaps they go outside less, and you know, people are more prone to staying inside. So then this is why it's saying, is it causal? It's like a chicken and egg situation. Is the fact that somebody has depression and anxiety causing them to then get less vitamin D levels, or is it the vitamin D level causing them to then have increased risks or effects or outcomes from their anxiety or depression? Always more studies. We love science, don't we? Obviously people are going to keep looking into this, and I'll keep you updated as more studies come out. We've got another one here though. Depression was more prevalent in individuals who were diagnosed with vitamin D deficiency by 20% than in individuals who were not, who only showed 4.2% rates of depression. After adjustment, a vitamin D deficient diagnosis remains significantly associated with depression diagnosis. Furthermore, vitamin D deficient diagnoses were strongly associated with geographical latitude. So that's about where you live. It's people in areas where it's not as hot and not as sunny have lower levels of vitamin D on average. Like, I'm in the beautiful town of Melton Mowbray in pretty much bang central sort of England, if you're living in England, sort of Scotland, if you live above Scotland, what's above Scotland? Not that many people live above Scotland in the earth, so lower levels of vitamin D in these countries just more important sometimes to pay attention to. Conclusions, these results suggest that service members, because this was a study in the military, stationed at installations located at northerly latitudes, so military people stationed at places more higher up on the earth where the sun doesn't hit the earth, because the sun and the earth are spheres like this, the sun blasts its sort of rays here, and it sort of doesn't, you know, because we're on a ball, if you're at a higher latitude up, the sun doesn't quite hit the earth at such a strong or a direct angle as it does the equator, where it blasts straight into the side, and that's one of the reasons why. And some of these sunlight and rays and stuff is absorbed by the atmosphere, of which when you're coming in at an angle you get more of, etc. Anyway, people who live higher up have more vitamin D deficiency and get lower levels of vitamin D on average. Furthermore, vitamin D deficient service members may be at higher risk for diagnosis of depression. There we go. And some more, of course. Meta-analysis of all studies without flaws demonstrated a statistically significant improvement in depression with vitamin D supplements. Vitamin D supplementation over 800 international units IU daily was somewhat favorable in the management of depression in studies that demonstrated a change in vitamin D levels, and the effect size was comparable to that of antidepressant medication. So they found here that it's had in some people a similarly positive effect as antidepressant medication, and they're using over 800 IUs daily. Personally, I would recommend, especially if you live at a more northerly latitude, and especially if you don't go outside too much. Like, to be fair, I don't. Like, I exercise, but I do it in a gym. I work from home here, you know. I went to this meeting at Pepper's. It's indoors. When I go outside, I'm wearing a coat. I even wear a grey hat, you know, so not even my bald head is getting exposed to the sun. So what's the chance of getting much vitamin D from the sun here, really? Not much. It's been a particularly great day. I recommend more like 2,000 to 3,000 IU per day. Personally, this is not a sponsor. I use this Better You brand of vitamin D. This is available on Amazon and other places. It's actually a breath spray. Look, that's 3 daily doses, which is fine to do that actually, you know, with your vitamin D. You don't have to take it every single day. You can take like a week's worth in one go, and then nothing will happen. Like, I might as well do it now. It was 3. There we go. That's enough for the week, and now we'll just forget about it until next week. There we go, boom, boom. That's a nice little strong dose. What else have we got? Of course there's more. Of course there's more. Oh, this is a little thing I got up just to talk to you about how it works a little bit. This is just talking to you about how it works. Accumulating data has provided evidence that 1-alpha-25 dihydroxyvitamin D3 all right then, also known as vitamin D3 from here on out, is involved in brain function just in general. Thus, the nuclear receptor for vitamin D3 has been localized in neurons and glial cells. Genes encoding for the enzymes involved in the metabolism of this hormone are also expressed in brain cells. So genes encoding for the enzymes involved in the metabolism, the breakdown of vitamin D, are also in brain cells. The reported biological effects of vitamin D3 in the nervous system include the biosynthesis of neurotropic factors and at least one enzyme involved in neurotransmitter synthesis. Vitamin D3 can also inhibit the synthesis of inducible, nearly read that wrong, nitric oxide synthase and increase glutathione levels, suggesting a role for the hormone in brain detoxification pathways as well. All right then, vitamin D for brain health, it's positive, we like it. It's also nearly every cell in your entire body has a receptor for vitamin D3. So if you have a vitamin D deficiency, you have kind of an every system and cell in your body almost deficiency, and this is just not a good thing. So probably supplement it. If I was you. Next up, we have, let's go back to the studies. We've got omega-3 coming up, another nice little supplement you can take. You can either get vitamin D little tablets, or you can get a little bit of a, whoops, thought I was just changing something over there. Nope, we're all good. Or you can get a little bit of a breath spray. I like the breath spray. The novelty factor of it makes me take it more often. I'm not even kidding. But omega-3 is also something that is associated with lower levels of depression, and let's look at some evidence here. Omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid supplementation has been proposed as an adjuvant. Am I saying, what is this word? Adjuvant. Well, apparently that's a word. Let's see what this is. An adjuvant is a substance that enhances the immune system's response to the presence of an antigen. All right then. I mean, it can be if it wants to. All right. I originally was going to say adjunct, and then I thought, wait, slow down, read the word properly. It doesn't. It says adjuvant. Anyway, treatment for major depressive disorder, known as going forward as MDD. In the present meta-analysis, we pooled randomized placebo-controlled trials assessing the effects of omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid supplementation on depressive symptoms in major depressive disorders. We included 13 studies providing 1,233 participants. After taking potential publication, here we go, tongue twisters, bias into account, the meta-analysis showed an overall beneficial effect of omega-3 on depressive symptoms in major depressive disorder. In conclusion, present meta-analysis suggested a beneficial overall effect of omega-3 supplementation in major depressive disorder patients, especially for higher doses of EPA. So when you're buying omega-3, like if you bought cod liver oil or fish oil, that's not really what you want. What you actually want is you want the actual omega-3s inside it, but then inside the omega-3s, what you actually want is this thing called EPA and this other thing called DHA. They have different positive beneficial effects, but for antidepressive effects, it seems to be all about the EPA. There's some studies that have looked at whether it's the EPA or the DHA specifically that seems to help people with their depression and stuff like this. It always seems to be the EPA. Should you still take the DHA and just take the yes, because that has other benefits in the body as well, but that's just not for today's talk. Further precision medicine trials should establish whether possible interactions between EPA and antidepressants could provide targets to improve antidepressant response and its prediction. As always, yes, we always want more studies. Here are some more then. Herein we found that omega-3 demonstrated a therapeutic effect of these varying amounts on improvement of depression. Among them, with a dose of EPA equal to or smaller than 1 gram per day, the pure EPA and EPA major groups demonstrated better effect sizes on the improvement of depression. This was in line with effect of previous studies. See here, here, and here. So more then, among participants with diagnosed depression, EPA predominant formulation, so omega-3 supplementation containing more than 50% EPA in the balance of EPA DHA demonstrated clinical benefits compared with placebo, aka a fake version of it. All right, and that's just reminded me to go on to the next topic. That's why that tab's there. So vitamin D, 2,000 to 3,000 IU per day is a good recommendation. That's good. Omega-3 supplementation, that's also good. This also might help. It also helps your bones, it helps your joints, it helps your cholesterol levels, and it helps loads of good things. But it also might help you with your happiness directly. Anywhere up to 1 gram of EPA per day. So you need to turn over the tub, see how many EPA you get from your fish oil, and then you need to take that many fish oils to get it up to the correct dosage of EPA. Some are stronger, some are not strong. Personally, I get a triple strength one from Holland & Barrett on the buy one, get one for 1p sort of thing. And that's a decent one. I know that My Protein also do a decently strong one. Regular doses for omega-3s to try and get 500 EPA and 500 DHA. This is when you start to see really good benefits from your omega-3s inside your systems and your body. But I've seen in different studies as well that up to 1 gram of EPA is showing benefits for depression. All right. Next two things then. Let's go back to this. All right then. Not there. Next thing that you can do with your diet to help possibly with your, because different things just work for different people, don't they? There's no one size fits all, and there's no like cure-all Jesus style, is there? But another thing that you can do to possibly help your symptoms of depression is just weight loss in general. Let's have a look at this then. Got a little study up for you here, of course. The findings of the current review provide preliminary evidence for the importance of weight loss in obese individuals experiencing low mood. The majority of studies included showed decrease in depression scores following dietary interventions, specifically through calorie-restricted diets. Don't you know it? Calorie-restricted diets are the types of diets that induce weight loss. So weight loss is improving people's depression. This is in line with a large body of research reporting amelioration of depressive symptoms in obese patients after weight loss. It is plausible that pursuing dietary interventions for obese patients with comorbid depression could have the additional benefit of relieving some of their depressive symptoms, as well as improving their metabolic health and cardiovascular risk. We love it, don't we? You can be healthier and happier in one. So not only with getting your correct actual nutrients in your body, your vitamin D and your omega-3s, these are two of the best things you can do in terms of supplements. Also, just losing weight in general seems to help people. Some more evidence and a nice discussion here. Conclusion, on average, obese individuals, I keep forgetting to say as well, if you're trying to read along with me, turn your mobile phone sideways so that you can actually read what's going on and it's a little bit bigger for you. I'm trying to make it bigger here as well. I need to remember to say that at the start of these videos. Conclusion, on average, obese individuals in weight loss trials experienced reduction in symptoms of depression. Future studies should examine incidence and resolution of clinically significant depressive disorders with weight loss interventions. Depression is another health complication that is commonly associated with obesity. Odds of ever having met criteria for major depressive disorder are 20 to 50% higher among obese individuals than normal weight persons. See studies here and here. Extremely obese people are at an even greater risk. See evidence here. The relationship between obesity and depression appears to be bidirectional. I completely agree. It goes both ways. It's the chicken and the egg, like we said before. Some longitudinal studies have shown that depression is associated with subsequent weight gain and obesity. See here, a prospective study of the role of depression in the development and persistence of, in adolescence, obesity, so people with depression gaining more weight. And then also here, obesity and weight gain in relation to depression. Do you see? Whereas others have found that obesity is associated with development of depression, so it can go both ways. Being overweight can make people unhappy in a series of different physical and psychological means and methods. I've got a real interesting one coming up for you in the last point in that way. So being overweight can make people unhappy, but being unhappy can also make people overweight. Both of these things are real. It can be a cycle. Obese women are particularly vulnerable to depression, it says. Two studies for evidence. Behavioral interventions for obesity induce mean weight losses of 5 to 10% of initial weight. That's showing that if people diet on average, and it's a successful diet, on average they will lose 5 to 10% of their weight when they go for the diet. Despite patients remaining obese, so they didn't even get down into this is only BMI categories, and I know it's not the be all end all with the BMI, but it's just BMI categories. Despite people remaining basically in the same BMI category of obese, these modest reductions resulted in significant improvements in metabolic risk factors for cardiovascular disease, so they got healthier. Patients also experienced improvements in body image, so they felt better, physical functioning, they felt physically better, and quality of life. See all this evidence if you so wish. Moreover, intentional weight loss is often accompanied by improvements in mood, another study shown here. Nice, hey? So even just losing some weight can also make people feel better in that bi-directional way of sometimes eating better does physical things like we're going to talk about in a second. Right now, this is a real interesting one I've got coming up for you last, or sometimes it can be the other way around. Mind you, well, I'm going to add on one more little point. I'll make a note of it at the end. I've just reminded myself of another excellent point to bring up. Anyway, the last thing that you can do, or the last thing that may have positive impacts, is improvements in gut health. So let's talk about and let's look at this then, shall we? So gut health is a massive part of new research that's coming out with nutrition and with human biology and stuff like this. We're finding out about the enteric nervous system. This is a nervous system that goes from your guts up to your brain, your guts feeding back information to your brain. The enteric nervous system actually has more neurons than the peripheral nervous system, which is the one that controls all your limbs and stuff. So it's actually got more pathways going back up there. And it's showing that gut bacteria and your gut microbiome and your enteric nervous system and the feedback from your guts to your brain, this is impacting the way that we think and our emotions and our hormones and the ways that we feel and things like this. And all of this blends into one because your emotional state determines your thoughts, and then your thoughts determine your actions, then your actions determine your outcomes, don't they? And then the results of your life, and then it's all a downstream spiral that could be coming from your gut. So this study intends to determine the role of the gut microbiome in mental health and depression related to us here today. This literature review established a strong link of microbes in the gastrointestinal tract affecting how individuals think, and how the gut-brain axis, the link between the gut and the brain, serves as an essential pathway in considering the management of several mental health issues and psychiatric illnesses. Oh, it's direct evidence. How could this be? Well, let's talk about this very interesting and important fact. Serotonin, also known as 5-hydroxytryptamine, once most extensively studied as a neurotransmitter of the central nervous system, is seen to be predominantly secreted in the gut. About 95% of your serotonin, one of your, no, not gut, sorry, it knows what we're thinking about. Links between serotonin and depression popping up here. It's one of your happiness chemicals. I thought it was just going to come up and just say serotonin is to do with your happiness because that's basically the game. But it's coming up with all this scientific information. Flipping. All right then, as if we don't have enough. Anyway, about 95% of your serotonin, which is one of your endorphins, it's one of your happiness hormones, is estimated to be found in the gut, mainly in these enterochromaffin cells, whereas only about 5% is found in the brain. And where have you heard of this serotonin before? Well, if you use an antidepressant, sometimes it's an SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So if you've got depression and you're looking to relieve symptoms of these and you go to the doctors, they might give you a medication which affects your serotonin. Your serotonin is stored in your gut. What you eat affects your gut. Look at this. This is an article in the American Psychology Association. Gut bacteria also produce hundreds of neurochemicals that the brain uses to regulate basic physiological processes as well as mental processes such as learning, memory, and mood. For example, gut bacteria, listen, manufacture, that means create, your gut bacteria create about 95% of your body's supply of serotonin, which influences mood and intestinal activity. They've just put GI activity because they're making it easy for themselves. But I'm doing it I'm going full tilt over here, trying to help you and trying to help you understand as well. So we know that people who have higher body weights have poorer variety and amount and proliferation of gut bacteria, a poorer microbiome, and the bacteria in your guts is worse on high calorie diets, people that have higher body weights, people that eat more processed food, people that eat lower fiber rates, people that eat lower protein rates, people that don't get the different balances of their essential fatty acids. Essentially, any part of a poor diet, like if you don't get enough protein or you don't eat enough veg or you do eat too much processed food or you eat too much overall or your body weight's too high or any of this, all of this is shown. I'm not going to bring up even more studies because you've seen enough. Okay, I'm probably blinding you with all these studies. Melting your brain with information. I understand, I'm sorry. Just showing you the truth. Just showing you the truth. Any of these sort of negative factors that could be going on with your diet, this shows decrease in positive types of gut bacteria and in having the correct amounts and the different variety of gut bacteria, etc. And then if you haven't got correct gut bacteria, then look, 95% of your body's serotonin is made by the gut bacteria. This is one of your happiness hormones. Do you ever wonder why it's eat shit, feel shit? Do you? Because I don't. Can you see how the foods that you eat, it does more than just taste like something and then it goes in? It's having physiological impacts on almost every function in your entire body, including your mental health. Do you understand? You are what you eat. Yes, you do. Anyway, let me stop shouting at you and showing you studies. I'm going on a bit long for this video, but if you're still here, you must be enjoying it and you must be getting something out of it. Another thing that I think is really important with mental health is having place and purpose and your basic needs as a human met. For this, I like to follow a philosophy called Eudemonia, which if you're one of my followers, you'll have heard me talk about this before. This is an ancient Greek philosophy and this is not all encompassing, it's not the be all end all, it's just something I like and that you might find useful too. Eudemonia states that there are 4 pillars to a good life. Eudemonia means the good life. If you're trying to Google this, it starts with an E, eudemonia, and then Google "did you mean" will save you after that because it is difficult to spell. But it means the good life, and they say there's 4 pillars to a good life. There's health, wealth, love, and fulfillment. These areas specifically. Health, wealth, love, and fulfillment. Health is first. Why is health first? Because out of the 4 main areas of your life to try and work on to live a good, happy, and hopefully ultimately fulfilled life, we'll get to what that means in a minute, health is the only one of these 4 pillars that you can actually have sole function on. Your health, you can, if you can walk, go for a walk, or you can choose to eat some different foods. You can go to bed at a more appropriate time and get a few more hours sleep. You could drink more water. You can choose to maybe get one of these vitamin D supplements and just see if it helps you. You know, you can make positive changes in this area. It's something that you can take control over. And if you're struggling with your health, then how are you supposed to move on? You know, if you're ill or not feeling good, imagine, let's talk about an extremity. Imagine you are bedridden through ill health, then how are you supposed to have good wealth or have good love, which is about family and friends and, yes, also romantic relationships, but also children and, you know, people and society. And then health, wealth, love, and fulfillment, the final one. Fulfillment is about your place in society. It's like you feeling like you have a place and you have a purpose and you have a position, if you understand. These other ones, they're about helping other people. If you're thinking about wealth, somebody has to pay you, like in a job, or even if you've got your own business, you have to get clients and then they have to pay you because you then work for them, you know, so it involves other people. Love, this involves other people. You know, sometimes you love people, it's not reciprocated, or sometimes other people have their own things going on in their life, like maybe somebody else is stressed and then this impacts you, you know, so it's a back and forth thing. It's a duality, isn't it? And then the fulfillment of having a place in society, this also involves other people, and you can't control what other people do. This makes achievement of these other 3 more difficult. But the first one, health, do other people impact your health? Yes. And your food and your diet? Yes, they do, but not predominantly. Predominantly, it's you. So you can start there. You can take control of your health. You can start with diet. You can choose tomorrow to wake up and eat a different food. Maybe you just have a smaller portion of breakfast. Maybe you choose a healthier breakfast. Maybe you skip breakfast. Maybe you have a healthier lunch. Maybe you eat a few vegetables. Maybe you bump up your protein intake. Maybe you do an exercise or physical activity thing. Like maybe you go for a walk, but you can start tomorrow. You can choose whatever you can do personally for you to make a little positive change, have a little positive impact. Choose one thing, move, make a step forward. You can impact your health. Once you've got this one under control, you've started building self-confidence, you've started building your self-esteem, you've set goals, you've achieved them. This is what happens to people who join my weight loss program, and it's so powerful to see. They finally lose the weight, they take control of the food, and then they think, I did it. They think, fuck, I did the damn thing. Then they start to wonder, what else could I do? And I think you're damn right. I completely agree. You've just done the damn thing. You just did that thing that you thought you couldn't do. And we did it nice and basic. We just set small little achievable targets. We started stepping forward. Now use this method and go. Go forth and achieve. Become healthier, become happier, move on. Tackle other goals and obstacles in your life. Springboard one form of success, one thing you took control over. Use that to springboard yourself forward onto other different and better things. Anyway, do you think that's enough from me? I do, because I can see how long I've been talking on the screen. Thank you so much. Connor Rhodes from Slum Society. Like the video if you enjoyed it or if you got anything out of it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate my followers. It's been nice to see you once again. If you've got comments and questions, good, leave them on. If you want help with your health or happiness directly from me, then go to www.slumsociety.co.uk and see what's going on, or you can send me a message and we'll talk about it. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you and I'll see you again soon.